Okie dokie, today I'm talking about enzyme and their environment. So their environment conditions that are going to change the activity of the enzyme are going to be mainly pH and temperature. So pH is the power of hydrogen. And so basically how many hydrogen ions are in a solution, it's measured from about 0 to 14. 7 is neutral. So 7 neutral. And then 14 is going to be basic. And then 0 lower numbers are going to be acidic. That's kind of how that range works. And then temperature is average kinetic energy, or kind of how fast those molecules are bumping around into each other. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is temperature and how it relates to enzyme activity. So I'm going to draw a graph here. So the graph over here is going to be activity measured in percent. So like up here would be 100%. Down here's going to be 0%. And then here is going to be temperature in degrees Celsius. Right, so a curve for a enzyme in a human might look something like, let me check. Yeah, in a human might look something like this. And 40 degrees Celsius would be about right there. And so 40 degrees Celsius, that's going to be about 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So we can see that once we get a little bit higher than that, the activity is going to really start to drop off. And same if we go low. So if we get super high, they could denature. You know, if it's a fever or something, and then hypothermia. Let's see, what did I call it? Okay, yep. Sorry guys. So low hypothermia if this is a fever. So that's why we need to stay within kind of this range, you know, of body temp. Kind of why we're warm-blooded. Okay, and then the other one I want to draw is once again activity measured in percent. So let's say this is 100%. This is 0%. And over here, instead of temperature, we're going to have pH. And right down the middle, we're going to shoot for 7. Okay? And so a normal curve might look something like this. I'll make sure I get up to 100. It might be a little bit wider than that, who knows? You know, maybe it's something more like that. A little bit wider, but mainly in 7, it's going to do really well. And so it's going to be most things. The body pH, so body has a pH I think of around 7.3 to 7.4, so we're slightly basic. But then you have the enzymes in your stomach, and their curve might look more like this. So they're going to prefer more acidic, but what you need to get out of this is that if you move out of the range the enzyme is designed for, the activity rate is decreased. And same thing with basic. You will have some enzymes that are designed for basic. So if you move out from where the enzyme works well, the activity the percent of activity decreases. So as you move away from the environment the enzyme was made for, your reaction rate or enzyme activity will decrease. And this happens because you have the structure of a protein, which I've talked about earlier, and the structure of it begins to break down. And so if the shape doesn't fit, then it won't work, because shape follows function. And so if it heats up, it's going to deform and denature. And in the same way, if it gets too cold, and then when the substrate doesn't fit into the active site, it won't work. So I'm going to get into that next time. We're going to talk about different sites and inhibition and all that stuff in enzymes. So I hope that was helpful.